In what ways does BOXBAY's tech differ from other methods like yard stacking?
BOXBAY is really, let's say, a revolutionary and disruptive technology coming to the market now. It is a high bay store for containers, and the new thing about it is, of course, that you don't stack containers on each other. You stack containers in a way that you have direct access to each of the containers without any shuffle moves and stuff like this. So that is an extremely positive argument to go with BOXBAY. Of course, it is new, and there is also a history of high bay stores for containers. About the last 40 years, we found out. The track was never good. It was too expensive, it was too heavy, or it did not perform well. And we have made it in our company to create a system that is working perfectly well with high performance, and the performance that we have is much higher than with the traditional technologies. With this, we can solve a lot of problems at the moment in the industry. What's going on in the industry? You may have space constraints in ports, but also in intermodal terminals in the US, in inland terminals. And that makes you only grow vertically. You cannot go horizontally anymore, and that makes you think about how can I go vertical? Of course, BOXBAY is not a solution that is cheap. We have steel structure inside, a lot of steel structure inside. But if you have an expensive business model that tells you, okay, I need to expand, I will have much more volumes in the future, then it will make sense, because you will have an extremely higher throughput per square acre. We can deliver 3 times more than traditional technologies. That helps a lot to the operators. And what we have done in the past is we created a proof of concept facility in Dubai at Jebel Ali and proved this technology is working well. And we are now here going to the US market, to the Northern American market, to make our first projects and orders. And we are very much excited getting into it.
What parameters need to be met for a solution like BOXBAY's to make sense in a port or in a terminal?
BOXBAY is not a solution for every container terminal and also not for every intermodal terminal. What you need to have is a throughput of at least, I would say, 500,000 TEU, or in the intermodal you say FOI, I think. That is a minimum thing that you should have. A second thing is, when we are talking about the terminals, the port terminals, that you don't have a constraint at the quay wall. If you have space at the quay wall, which is most essential for ports, then you can bring in more ships. And then, when you bring in more ships, you need more capacity. Therefore, BOXBAY is very essential, because it's the only one that can solve the space constraint that you might get when you have expensive business model. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is that you can automate the whole process of containerizing a terminal much better than, for example, with an ASC technology. The ASC technology covers up to 6+1 containers, but they are all stacked on each other. And that means if you want the lowest one, you need to stack away all the others above, which leads to a lot of shuffle moves. And if you go to a BOXBAY, you don't have any shuffle moves. You have direct access, you have a very high density in your port, and especially for brownfield retrofits, that makes a lot of sense to think about this then.
Can you walk us through the process of implementing a BOXBAY solution?
BOXBAY is an integrated system, let's say. And it's not just about replacing cranes or other equipment in the terminal. So that means we have a look at the horizontal transport in the terminal. How is it working? How is it working with the cranes that bring the containers from a ship, or with the cranes that bring the containers from the train? And we have to look for the individual situation at the customer side. So, and having done this together with the customer, we design a first layout that we also simulate. We are also simulation experts, and that give the customer a good overview about what's going on, what can be made, and what will it cost. So this step we need to take, but then we are quite far in the process of saying, hey, it makes sense to a customer, the return on investment is nice, or not. And as I said, it's not a solution for every port. It's for these, let's say, high-performance ports with high throughput expectations. So being so far, and you come to the conclusion, let's do a contract, then we would start with the civil works. doing the pavements, doing the piling for the steelworks. In general, it seems to us that most customers want to do this on their own, doing the civil works with that. At the same time, when the civil works are started, we are procuring the steel structure, we are procuring the equipment parts, and bring those together on site as soon as possible. And when a certain amount of civil has been done, has been finalized, then we directly start with the construction of the steelwork and of the equipment. This whole process takes, depending on the size of what we are doing, I would say 30 to 36 months. If we are talking about a so-called empty stack, that is faster. Because there you don't have the loads up to 40 tons, you have only loads up to, 5 tons maybe, and that helps a lot in this process. So mostly we will be ready around 32 months, and then we have 3 or 4 months for testing out, for doing together with the customer, let's say some dry exercise before then it gets into operation. And we are used to this because our history, not as BOXBAY, but as the partners behind BOXBAY, is high bay stores in the metals industry. And we are doing for steel coils, we are doing this high bay things for over 30 years. And the steel coil weighs up to 40 to 50 tons. So it's comparable to the containers. And so some customers, of course, are asking at the moment, where is it proven? It is proven in the steel industry. You can visit it all around the world. We have more than 50 of these. We have now the POC, proof of concept facility in Dubai, and we are heading for the first contracts in place in Asia and other continents. But this I cannot tell at the moment. It's just going on.
Thanks for sitting down with me today, Christoph.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.